Can you start a podcast with me, please? I need something to do.
Sent it out in front of Malkin to save. They score! Elias Lindholm looks to the heavens.
Here's a chance. Potter right in on goal. He scores. Oh my! What a move by the rookie.
2-on-1. Pasternak moving in with Marchand. Get into it. Score!
The zone. Coyle dances in. Backhand. Score!
Lindholm right wing corner. Pasternak is there. He scores! David Pasternak wins it for Boston.
Welcome in, everyone, to another episode of Bruins Tape to Tape. I am your host today, Karoline with a K, and it is officially August. It's the dog days of summer. There's nothing going on in the world of hockey, really. So we're taking the time to get to know our newest Boston Bruins players who have signed and were traded right around the free agency July 1st date. So today, of course, we are joined by my lovely co-host, Maria of Watertown. Hello, Maria.
Hello, my friend. How are you today?
I am sweating like crazy.
I'm over, over this, but that's okay.
It's gross. It's gross.
Yes.
And of course, to enlighten us on what the heck these guys are actually supposed to be doing when they're out on the ice, we have brought in our favorite professor of all things on the ice, Professor Moe. Hello, Momo.
Hello. Thanks again for
Mo.
having me, guys.
Thank you, as always, for joining us.
You're
Yes.
welcome. Sorry to hear about the heat. It's nice here, so I can't relate.
Well, if you've been listening for a little while, Mo comes on to the pod and kind of gives us a unique perspective, a more on-ice technical perspective of what these guys are actually supposed to be doing besides be over there, shoot the puck, score some goals. So he joined us already back in June when we were talking about our trade acquisitions. Interesting to see how those deals panned out, because there were a couple of those guys, all except for one, because we were talking, I think, a little bit about Morgan Geekie as well, that did and didn't sign. So interesting to go into that free agency and see what happened to some of those guys who stayed, who left. But now we're talking about the guys that we are theoretically stuck with until at least March of 2026. And so today we are going to dive right in and learn a little bit more about Michael Eyssimont. So just as a quick little background to educate everyone on who the heck this kid is. I say kid, but he's 28. But the picture that he has on hockeyreference.com must have been taken when he was like 18. But this 28-year-old, he'll be 29 around the start of the season. He is primarily a center. He shoots left. As you recall, in our free agency frenzy episode, we acquired quite a few left-handed centermen. But this guy, he's played in a lot of different teams. He's played for Winnipeg. He's played for San Jose. He's played for Tampa Bay, and he's played for Seattle. However, I'm actually pretty intrigued by this acquisition. He's been playing pretty much a full load of games since 2023, 2024. So he's basically been full time for a couple of seasons at this point. And there's something about him for me that I am maybe the most optimistic, and maybe it's because I know the least about him, or at least his stats don't frighten me. But his contract deal that he signed was a 2-year, $1.45 million cap hit deal. He's going to be a UFA at the end of this. So pretty Inexpensive center, likely a bottom six situation there, but 2 years, 1.45. Maria, what was your immediate response? What's your take right off the bat with this signing?
Well, I don't know what to expect. I don't know enough about this player. I actually tried to find some highlights, and I'm more, from a scoring standpoint or an offensive standpoint. I did find a lot of fighting videos on him, which I thought, my note that I wrote down is, can he do anything other than fight? Because that's all I saw that came up. And I'm a little puzzled by why things didn't pan out for him in Tampa.
Yeah.
Yeah, he played 57 games with them, so I'm guessing that means he was traded at the deadline because he played 20 games in Seattle. In terms of the Pims, I mean, I don't know, nothing particularly spectacular.
I mean, it wasn't injury. There weren't injuries. He doesn't have that type of a track record. I think early on in his career, he did a lot of bouncing up and down, especially when he was with the Winnipeg Jets. But he seemingly had found a home in Tampa, and I'm not, everyone seemed to have been singing his praises. Okay, then why did Tampa seem to part ways with him?
Could be he didn't match what Tampa's game style or playing style was, right? We saw that with Jeannot, is they don't seem to appreciate the grinder, the gritty, kind of play in the boards type of style. So if it doesn't match, it's not going to show up on the score sheet. And sometimes teams just, if he's a good player, they still want to trade him and get players in return for them that will help them. I don't know what what Tampa got from Seattle, but I'm assuming, maybe they just thought that was a better fit for the team. So we'll have to see.
I mean, the money's fine. I don't have any indignation with regard to, the contract and the money. It's just a question of, for me, in my mind, where does this player fit in, Professor?
All right, Bruins fans, if you're thinking about picking up some new gear, now's the time. I'm already planning to grab a fresh Pasternak jersey this fall. Who knows? Maybe he's rocking a new letter on the front. The NHL shop is running tons of season-ending and summer sales right now, including 20% off Fanatics gear. And here's the best part. When you shop through our link in the show notes, a portion of your purchases helps support this podcast. Same gear you'd find at the pro shop, but with way better perks. So stock up, save big, and help keep Bruins Tape to Tape rolling all year long.
Hey Bruins fans, love the pod? Well, here's an opportunity to join the team. Become a friend of the pod on Patreon and unlock more Bruins content, merch perks, and the community we've built with diehard fans like you. For just $3 a month, join Gallery of the Gods. Get ad-free episodes, sticker swag, and a discount in the merch shop. Or go full legend with the Black and Gold tier. Bonus content, virtual watch parties, more swag, and full access to our Substack. No matter the tier, you're in the room with us. Tap the link in the show notes and take your spot on the bench.
Yeah, especially he had 9 goals, 7 assists, 16 points. He finished at a +1, which, I mean, that already puts him ahead of half the team. 1.2 point shares. He only had 63 penalty minutes. Average time on ice was 10:37. So, I mean, what do you see with this guy? What should we be looking for?
Yeah, I guess let's get into it, right? So it sounds like, if he's on a 2-year deal, I think that's why a lot of us don't have heartburn. If he doesn't pan out, his cap AAV is not high. The cap is going to go up, so he's not hamstringing the Bruins with years or value. if he plays decent, he still has value to another team, so he still could be trade bait. And so if we kind of look at a couple of different areas, so kind of went back and looked at the all three zones kind of analysis, and what they do is they kind of watch each game and they'll monitor different aspects of the game and keep track of them. So some of the examples are, they'll take the general offense of the player, and it'll be, their shots per 60. So they'll take the shots per 60 that they have, and they'll compare it to the league and make a league average, and they'll basically take Z-scores, which is basically, hopefully I explain this right, is the standard deviation away from league average. So if you have a Z-score of like 2, you're 2 times better than league average, or you're better than the league average. So you want to have a positive number better than a negative number, where neutral 0 is your average. So average is not Freddie. Freddie is way below average, but basically average better Freddie. So what we've got is, if you kind of look at,
you see how he always comes back around to Freddie this guy.
Yeah. Sorry, you brought me on. I'm doing it.
I know.
Yeah, we know.
I did it recently too, so you're
I
not
know.
alone.
So I'm also the guy that liked Max Jones last year. So
we did too, but sometimes things don't pan out.
Yep.
So Mo, I'm curious, real quick, before you dive into specifics about this player, how does he differ from Mark Kastelic? Because I'm looking at his numbers, without getting deep into the stats and watching lots of video. I mean, just at first glance at the stats, his time, his goals, his plus minus, he's a center. What's the difference then between this guy and Mark Kastelic? Did we just make somebody redundant? Like, where then is this guy going to fit in? Or is Mark Kastelic looking at a potential promotion? Where's he going to go, right?
Yeah. I think Kastelic is more of your kind of bona fide fourth line player, where he plays a straight end, kind of very basic game, where he's going to kind of just get the puck, put it in deep, try to get it, and that's his game. He'll play physical, he'll stick up for his teammates, where if we look at everything that Eyssimont does well, he has a better skill set, where if he can be used more appropriately and play with more third line guys. So I don't know who's going to be the third line center, like Fraser Minton, I think they were talking about potentially. Because looking at Eysimont's kind of face-off history, his percentage is bad. So I don't think he was a center. I think so if I look at the stats, he was 12.5% face-off.
Oh my sweet Jesus. How can you call himself a center?
So
I feel like that's horrific.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
so he must be me out there playing center against the.
He had okay, correct. So he had 50% in Seattle. He had 12.5% in Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
And he was playing the same amount, almost exactly the same average time on ice, right?
Yep.
Like he was
10:41
in Tampa and 10:26. So he was actually worse in Tampa, which is surprising. So maybe, going back to your point of systems and whatever, clearly not a fit there. Better in Seattle, but continue.
And so I took, all three zones, and I kind of looked at the NHL Edge analytics, and kind of banged everything together and tried to draw parallels and see what each guy kind of did well and what they didn't do well. So looking at Edge, basically what it says is his strengths are his speed. So the guy is fast. He's in basically like the top 80th percentile of his top skating speed of like 23 miles an hour. He's in the top 94th percentile of 22 plus mile per hour bursts. So he's basically like the fastest guy in the league. So that bodes well, hopefully, for a team that's trying to hopefully create a little bit more offense, maybe a little bit more dump and chase and puck recovery, and we'll kind of see how that translates. Another good thing that hopefully we'll all be happy about is I think we can all agree one of the things we were pissed off about as fans is the Bruins never shot the puck.
Yes.
Well, shots on goal, he had, I don't know if this is right, but he had 142 shots on goal,
Wow.
which puts him in the 75th percentile. So he's in
Okay.
that's what we want from a guy, right?
Right.
And his shot speed is actually pretty legit. He's in like the 52nd percentile, so he's about halfway through.
Fine.
So his shot is good. And so all of that, and then if we look at kind of what he does in his strengths in the all three zones, is his secondary assists is higher than league average. So hopefully he can either his shots create rebounds, which create goals. Have to look at that and see if that is anything, or the ability to get into the zone. And what it also says is his point shot setups is better than league average. So you could take it, you could get the puck, go to the D, go to the net, rebound, deflection, something. So he's setting up. And in my opinion, assists or even just passes to set up a goal is better than a goal. You can't score if you can't get it to the net.
Yeah.
And his controlled entries and his zone entries are better than league average, which is great. So we take all that together. I think that's kind of where Boston saw this guy has something he can offer us. And the way I look at it is I don't think the Bruins were all that impressed, or I don't feel they had a chance with the top tier, like top 6 forwards that were in the UFA class. So they basically said, fuck it, we'll do it next year. Let's make a trade for a top 6 guy and we'll fill our bottom 6 and hopefully we'll strike gold with some reclamation projects.
Yeah.
So hopefully those strengths kind of translate to what Marco Stern wants to do. God, it's weird saying that. And what Bruins want to do. And hopefully he can pair them. And I think the preseason is going to be imperative to see who plays with who and who forms basically just a cohesive line. I would throw out lines 1 through 4 and just say, you're a line, you're another line. Like just go have fun and go do it.
Do you envision that some of, the rationale for bringing on a guy like Michael Eyssimont is to potentially challenge others as well? Let's face it. We've got an abundance now of seemingly, third and fourth line guys, and we're going to get to others of them in future episodes. But considering how poorly things went last season for the start of the season, including training camp, do you think that a Michael Eyssimont could potentially push someone out of a proverbial job?
I do. And I think that's kind of what Boston's hoping is maybe he comes in and he pushes the younger guys to elevate their game. I mean, I don't think the Bruins are really happy with Lysell. I don't know how happy they are with Apatra. I mean, Patra's still, 21, 22? He's still a baby.
He's 20, I think.
Yeah. So, I mean, the guy still has probably 4 more years before he could really, we all want to be Bergeron, but if he plays in Providence for 3 more years and then he becomes Bergeron, then I don't care.
Right.
So I think they're just trying to leverage their bets. And honestly, I think that's something we should kind of be happy about is I'd rather have too many bottom 6 guys than not enough and have just enough top 6 guys and maybe have some prospects who can fit in. Like it's not great, but it's not, we're not Edmonton who has just, top 6 guys who perform, so, it's you pick, and the best thing to do is just make a team. When the Bruins won, they didn't have a bunch of superstars. They had a great team that played the system and just kicked people's ass. So
and you need that balance. I mean, we've seen that time and time again in the playoffs. Recency bias, but this past season and the season before, you've got to have 4 good lines. They don't all have to be great lines.
Nope.
Right. You need a great, you need great players on each.
Sure. You always need that, but you need to have those role players too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think, to your point, Mo, that we need to. It's better to have more of those bottom guys. Yes, if there is that competition, and that was a piece that was certainly, I think, missing last season. So like if we have a bevy of these bottom 6 guys, if they all are replacement level, then it just becomes that revolving door and we just get pissed off because there's nobody who can step in and make a difference. Okay, we're going to bring this guy in for a week. He's not doing anything. Let's try another guy.
Right.
He's not like, we don't want to see that because I think that's what we ended up seeing last year. And I didn't know that about the speed about him.
No,
Yeah,
I
he's
did.
fast.
That's
Neither.
very
I mean, I
exciting.
did see a couple of nice,
Yeah.
highlight goals there. I thought, okay,
Yeah.
there weren't a lot of them, but what I saw was like, okay,
That's okay,
Right.
right? That's what you're gonna expect from a guy. He's I think averaged over his career in terms of point shares, something like 4.3, which is what his role has been
Right.
in the bottom, 4th line.
Yep.
But if he can skate like crazy, and if he can, just dump it in and do all of those seemingly simple elements
Bottom
of the
6.
game,
Yeah.
well, there are guys that I think it's pretty obvious that they are being given their last chance in Boston, right? Down in that area, whether it's somebody who's flip-flopping back and forth from the AHL to the NHL, they're on that bubble, or they are
Yep.
sitting there in the bottom 6. I think if he can skate his ass off and he can set up plays,
Yep.
maybe that will force others to reach for that, right? Because like you said, you can't take your or expect your top line to necessarily create that competition with your bottom line because it's two very different
It's 2 different teams, basically.
teams, right? Like it's just
Yeah.
what their job is very different than the 4th line. So
Yep.
there's only so much that Pasta and Geeky and Zaka and those guys can do to elevate your bottom 6 players. And so if there's somebody there who at least can be as fast as hell, like,
Yep.
geez, because that's something that we were seriously lacking last season. So it'll be interesting to see what
Yep.
kind of impact he has coming in. And being a little
Yeah.
bit older than some of these young guys, like I'm thinking specifically about Beecher, right? He's
Yeah.
a kid, but, they're only like a couple of years apart. And, he's going to be fighting for his spot in Boston. And maybe this guy will create a good, healthy, competitive environment.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. That's who I was thinking was maybe on the bubble. And memory test makes me feel like Beecher kind of lost a little bit of trust and he kind of slowed down, maybe got tired, wasn't ready, but that whole line kind of didn't Costa get hurt or he didn't play at the end. Like everybody kind of, but
no, that line was
He got
like,
injured.
yeah. So
they were one of the best lines, if not the best line in the league to start.
They were
last
top
season.
3, yeah.
And then, for a variety of reasons, one of not the least of which was Kastelic getting pretty dinged up. And, I think we all know that he likely had a couple of concussion related issues and that line just wasn't the same, and they had a really good chemistry and stuff. And, maybe Beecher's the kind of player and, maybe this is a conversation for another pod, but, I find it sometimes worrisome when a young player like that seems to only have a comfort level with other players. It doesn't seem
The
to be able
versatility is
to
there.
adapt to a different scenario or a different situation.
Yeah.
right. Yeah, you got to be versatile in that bottom 6. You got to be able to play with anybody. You got to try to shift positions because that is what makes you valuable, right? You're kind of like the utility man on a baseball team. You got to play multiple roles. That's how you make your money. That's how you make your impact. You're not Pasta. I mean, Pasta's role is to score goals and not back check, right? So your goal is to back check and maybe score goals. So, and when you compare Eyssimont to Kastelic, the things that I'm seeing is Eyssimont is good at zone entries. Costa sucks at it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Costa is good at defensive zone retrievals and exits, and Eyssimont isn't.
So
what I
we
think
just basically need to roll them together to make a perfect centerman. That's what I'm telling me.
Yeah.
And we were bad in both of those areas last
Right.
season, inherently
Yep.
and putridly bad,
Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
with zone entries.
Yep.
Zone
Yep.
entries were horrendous last season.
But both are also above average when it comes to forechecking. So when you see that, hopefully this team becomes a more fun, more forechecking, more hard to play against team, and hopefully they have systems in place where they can win the puck and then figure out what they want to do to win that puck. And I've always thought sending it back to the D and then having the D kind of dictate what to do. And you've got Lori, you got McAvoy, you got Yokiharu, you got Lindholm, you got guys that can push it. So maybe hopefully that works, and that's what they're thinking. But again, it all depends what style they want to play, who they put together. But I think the strengths that Eyssimont brings are intriguing and they look good on paper. We'll see if they translate. So
I mean, and he doesn't seem to take a lot of shit from anyone either, which I
which
don't
is
mind.
good.
I don't mind that aspect of it.
Right. So if we look at weaknesses, it's kind of interesting. So his shot assists per 60 is actually below average, which is kind of weird because he has the secondary assist, which is above average. So I'm not entirely sure what that means, but and the one thing that's kind of crazy is his passing diversity is lacking, where his low to high danger assists is below average. So I think he focuses more on that low to high game instead of that low to low game, where he's looking for the safe play and not the more high danger play.
Okay.
Which is fine if he's not your top six, because I'd rather him, pass to the defenseman and, not someone out, like not Kastelic in front or something, and he's covered. But I don't want him playing with Pasta and pass to the D and not Pasta, who's wide open or something like that. So I think looking at his weaknesses, I don't think they're terrible depending where he plays and what system his line kind of deals with. His offensive zone time is slightly below average, which I'm not sure if that means a whole hell of a lot. But his shot speed, he doesn't really have any 90+ mile an hour shots. So he gets a lot of shots on net, but they're not super fast. They're not hard. So I'm wondering if he has a little bit of Zaka in him. So I hope he hits the net and doesn't miss it.
His aim is better.
Yeah.
Look, at this point, I don't
we'll take anything.
I don't need, 15 forwards with 90 mile an hour slap shots.
Yeah.
I need all of these guys to just be shooting. And if, like you said, if he's got an above average, I saw his Corsi was over 50%. Great. We got to start somewhere. And even if it's 50.5%, all right, let's do this. He's taking shots.
Yeah, they have to. They clearly need to get out of that mindset that we have seen for not just last season, but I would say even the season before.
Oh yeah,
they are much too deferential, and I'm talking, the players, line mates. They are much too deferential. They're always seeming to make that extra pass rather than take what's given to you.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, exactly. So, Professor, to wrap up this particular player profile, are you pleased or displeased? We can be vague because, again, we don't know these guys. So are you pleased or displeased? Are you optimistic, pessimistic?
What is your grade for
What's
this?
the vibe
What is your
going
grade
into
for
the
this?
ball?
Yeah.
I'm always optimistic. So
God, we have one.
You are? You're the optimistic one?
Yeah, as long as we're not talking about who. So he's intriguing. I still don't know enough about him.
Yes.
But from what we see, I think he's kind of what we almost I equate him maybe to a Jake DeBrusk type player. So he's fast. He'll be good north to south. He'll probably be a little bit streaky. He'll probably do things that we're not very pleased about. But I think we have to see it more as what are our expectations of him. He's not going to get 50 goals. He's not going to get 75 points. What is a third line guy that we want to do, right? We want him to push the play. We want him, if he's the guy that's forechecking, get in on the forecheck, set it up, get the puck, get it high, let them set it up. He can't control what everybody else does once he gives them the puck. Control that, give them the puck, and just play inside your game. He does have some turnover issues, which we'll kind of see if that plays out, but which isn't great. But I think most guys do because the game is just getting so skilled. So I think if he plays with the right guys, I think he needs to play with guys that have speed. So I'm hoping, I think Fraser Minton, doesn't he bring a lot of speed? Hopefully. I think he'll bring more of a
camp, though. That's
veteran
the thing.
presence.
I mean,
right. We'll see. But I think it's not a bad signing. 2 years, low cap. He's got decent peripherals. He's fast. He shoots. He's safe. Right. So I think Don made a really good signing, especially if we don't want him to be on the second line.
Right.
I'm happy with it, and I'm just kind of curious to see how it pans out. And really, it's going to dictate who he plays with. And I mean, we'll see. I think it'll be good.
Do you think he'll play as center then, or are we hoping that he won't play center?
No. I don't think so. I think he's a left wing.
Making sure.
I personally like my wings to be more of my speed guys and my centers to be more of like the tactician Bergeron guys.
Right.
I want my wing, because your center should always be the third guy high in the offensive zone, because his job is to back check. His job is to be that third defender. His job is to help and not make sure things go FUBAR. So if he's going to go and get the puck and retrieve it and win it and get it to someone on his team, I don't care if he gets it to the defenseman or the guy in front of the slot. Just get the puck, keep it, and that's kind of what the Bruins are missing, and I hope that's what he brings, and we'll just kind of see if that's how it goes.
Yep. Well, the last guy we brought over from Seattle has done pretty damn well. So
took him a while, but shit, yeah.
No.
Well,
But
playing
better
with
late.
pasta, you're going to be good.
I was
I
going to say better
know.
late than never, right?
My dad could play with pasta, and he'd
He's
throw a
got a
goal or
pretty
two.
decent line mate there too.
All right. Well, any other final thoughts, Maria? How are you feeling now? Everything that you've learned about this guy.
I mean, I'm intrigued. I'm not over. Again, it's hard to get excited.
Hard to trust
about.
again.
I know.
It's hard to get excited about players who have. I don't want to call them a journeyman, but you haven't seen enough out of, and we don't know what kind of a team they want to be yet.
Yeah,
Right?
we don't know their
We have an idea. Heard management and Sturm say they want to get back to being a team that's hard to play against, but time will tell in terms of what we see come October.
Yep.
Got to get in the playoffs first to be a hard team to play against in the playoffs. So, so
yes,
we'll see.
All right. Well, if you like what you hear, make sure you follow us, subscribe, rate, and review so that others can follow us. If you haven't gotten your merch yet, by all means, head over to our merch store. Mo is clearly, if you're listening, showing off his beautiful T-shirt and his mug. You can follow us on all of our socials at Tape to Tape MK for our primary podcast socials. And again, thank you, Maria. Thank you, Mo. And as always,
Anytime.
go
Thank
Bees.
you all. Go
Go
Bees.
Bees!